to the Digital Glue Podcast. These digital untangling episodes are brought to you by Crystal Kordalchuk, CEO and founder of Virtually Untangled. This podcast is for entrepreneurs who need untangling from the day-to-day tasks in their business. These virtual world untanglers never underestimate the power of a good idea. And if that sounds like a lofty goal, well, it is. A decade ago, Virtually Untangled was founded with the goal of creating meaningful digital experiences that connect with people. Crystal and her team of honorary untanglers are now providing business owners just like you the opportunity to own your story and share it with the world. So, every Tuesday morning, she'll be dropping a new episode that will help you think big and dream even bigger. Let's dive into today's episode.
Most business owners interact with their clients for a brief time, exclusively during the initial stages of a business transaction, while others maintain close relationships with their clients for years. For businesses, that creates positive long-term connections with their clients. It should be an essential focus for their business to remain client-centered, to ensure financial success and growth. We believe that developing amazing long-term relationships with clients means one is more likely to receive repeat business and great testimonials. The more satisfied the client, the higher the chance they will recommend your business and offerings to a colleague, leading to new business. And that's what we love the most, referrals. To be quite honest, Virtually Untangled runs solely off those. So we happily provide incentives to our clients to make them want to even more. Alongside exceptionally multi-passionate services, they'll get bonus discounts off the services they're already paying for. It's a true win-win. To create a happy, long-lasting client relationship, you, as the business owner, must provide exceptional services during your first transaction with them, and all the others if things mosey on past the first. That being said, we here at VU consider the following 12 steps of utmost importance. Number 1, keep communication clear and concise. Number 2, check in frequently, but don't be a bug. Number 3, keep positivity aroused, especially during those tough times. Number 4, share the love of knowledge, tips, and tricks. Number 5, remain open-minded and solicit feedback. Number 6, maintain two-way accountability. Number 7, practice patience and respect their time. Number 8, remember, we're all human, so treat them as one. Number 9, learn their needs, wants, desires, and dreams. Number 10, provide expertise, solutions, and supports. Number 11, exceed expectations all the time. And lastly, number 12, take interest in life beyond business. Now, I don't know if you know this about my team and I, but and love reading, listening to other people's podcasts, signing up for high-end email lists to get great business insights, scrolling through social to stay up to date, and cruising the web in a research sense kind of way. We believe this keeps us always in the know, and it's a break from our virtually busy days. But most importantly, it keeps professional development alive, all while doing something we already truly love to do. That being said, we've recently noticed a lot of blogs, podcasts, LinkedIn posts, and other virtual goodies floating around about how to have happy, long-lasting business relationships with clients, so one can continue to send those monthly invoices. They're not wrong. But it makes me feel as though people may be afraid to talk about the flip side. You know what I'm talking about, those clients from hell. There are so many things one can do to keep the client happy. But what some don't realize is there's also a handful of client rules one can break that keep both sides successfully happy. I know. You're questioning my sanity right now. I can feel it, but don't worry. I got your back because here are 5 rules you should consider breaking. Rule number 1, do not be too over-accommodating. Part of owning your own show is to establish a set of rules, policies, and systems to help you produce the best work you can. And that's what sets you up for long-term success. And speaking from personal experience here, some clients don't care how you do business. They want things done their way, on their time schedule and budget, and that's just how it is. I think you know what I'm talking about here. My teeth are clenched just thinking about all the experiences we have being in that spot. Honestly, even more than we'd like to admit out loud. Don't get me wrong. The occasional favor that pushes the limits and boundaries is okay once in a while. We all love helping people. That's why we do what we do. But you must be careful of consistently yielding to pushy or over-demanding clients. Stop pulling those all-nighters to meet their rush deadlines because this can get in the way of doing an amazing job for this client as well as for all your others. Plus, it's probably going to make you resentful of them due to their demands, thus creating a not-so-good working relationship, which also throws the friendship version right out the damn window. So be wary of the clients who always seem to have a special request and those who constantly place you under pressure to meet their needs. Does this sound familiar to you? Then ask yourself this: is this client really worth all the trouble they cause, and more than once? If your answer is no, and you feel you've been asking yourself this often, then it's probably time to start planning an exit strategy and free yourself up for potential clients who better match your style, your flow, and your personality. Mark Wardell, founder of Wardell International, sums it up best. Make improvements to your business through rock-solid systems, and they will stick like glue. Rule number 2. Do not do what you do not want to be known for. It's so darn easy to keep getting involved in work you can do, but not necessarily want to be doing. I've been stuck on this rinse and repeat cycle more than once. But on the flip side, I've graciously had a few clients actually ask me what I prefer or love to do and what I don't. Some even went to the extent of asking me to make a list because they didn't want me to do work for them if it didn't bring me joy. I respected them so much more for that, and it helped build us a solid foundation for a long-term relationship. Now, I do the same thing when I bring new honorary untanglers onto my team, and I'm sure these great peeps who join our nerd crew appreciate it just as much as I did. So let's say a client asks you to take something on for them, and you say yes, for whatever reasons you had in that moment. Then, down the road, sometimes even immediately, this work becomes something of a habit or a new team role, and you're kind of freaking out as you thought it was a short-term solution. It is very important to consider what you want to be known for, your secret sauce, if you will, but also how much work can you do, generate, bring in that is related to that sauce. So what I'm getting at here is to not accept every project that comes your way just for the paycheck or to fill empty time with something to do. Undesirable work tends to spawn more undesirable work. And if you're working on those things that you do not want to be known for, instead of sharing your secret sauce with the world, then those prized projects you are dreaming of could and more than likely will pass you by. Now, I'm not saying kick those clients to the curb because it's not your passion. And I'm most definitely not saying reject all these types of opportunities if you know you're good at it or perhaps have a hankering to learn the task or platform. So if the client is in a pinch and you truly want to help, just make sure to be very clear on the terms right from the start. Then when you see that your client's needs are taken care of, that's a good time to remind them it's not you, it's me, and assist them with an exit strategy. And by exit strategy, I mean for the not your secret sauce kind of project, not leaving entirely, unless that's what you feel needs to happen. Now, of course, there's always the flip side. If you just plainly do not want to do it because you just really don't want to be known for it, it's okay to say no. You don't need anyone's permission. Rule number 3, do not lower your financial self-worth. It is very important to think about how much time you spend with each client in proportion to how much they pay you. Does everything feel aligned? If not, it's time to adjust your secret sauce offerings and raise your prices, offload your time-hungry clients, streamline your operations, think about expanding your team, or perhaps all of the above. Don't put your business at risk and be sure to scale your deliverables. If the client can only pay for half of the contract or proposal, then they only get half. It sounds stern, but it's only fair. Nobody should have to decrease their self-worth because the other half cannot pay. And nobody should work for free. So it's simple, really. They stop paying, you stop working. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. At least this way, you can minimize the risks by organizing the work process for your business properly and move on to work with other or new clients who respect and value you and your business. Rule number 4, do not break rules just because they asked. I bet I'm not the only one. At some point or another, we've all been asked to break the rules in our business. For me, having a business in design land, graphic and web, this one comes up so friggin' often. Sometimes design land rules are easier to break because they're not really hurting anyone. Well, except for the eyes of the ones looking at it. But with all other forms of rule breaking, the best advice I can offer is to try to find a win-win situation whenever possible. A good example of something I've been asked to do far too often, and it just makes me cringe, adding people to one's email list who haven't subscribed on their own or given permission. Let me give you an example. Very recently, one of my clients stated they had the opportunity to buy some email lists from a university with over 7,000 people on it and wanted to add them to their email list. They were super excited as it was only going to cost them $150. This crosses a very weary fine line in the land of business. You should never buy a list for the following reasons, not the least of which is violating regulatory compliance. Number 1, you would be violating the rules of consent under GDPR. The fines and penalties for this are stiff, even for just one infraction. Number 2, reputable email marketing services do not let you send emails to lists you've bought. Number 3, good email address lists are not for sale. Number 4, people on a purchased or rented list don't know you. Number 5, you will harm your email deliverability and IP reputation. Number 6, you can come across as annoying to all those people you're sending to. And number 7, your email service provider can penalize you for this. Sometimes these sneaky tactics fall flat when faced with disputes of an ethical, moral, or even legal nature. My advice here, just don't do it and trust your gut. Remember, you have permission to walk away from anything that doesn't feel right. Trust your instincts and listen to your inner voice. It's trying to protect you. And last, but certainly not least, rule number 5. Do not allow yourself to be treated poorly. When I first opened my business from part-time to full-time, I ran into this situation more often than I'd even like to admit. I was afraid if I stood up to the client who was treating me poorly, that it would leave a sour taste for future business. I would lose the client for good, and it would place a bad rap on my business name. However, after many meetings that ended in migraines and projects I completed while working through tears, and not small streams, huge-ass puddles, I realized that there is absolutely no excuse for bad behavior. I wouldn't let anyone in my personal life treat me this poorly, so why was I letting people in my business life do so? If a client is treating you poorly, the answer is simple. It's time to move on. Don't let the fear I experienced leave you stuck in a no-win situation. In the business world, there is no room for bullies. We teach the children of the world not to allow this at schools and after-hours play. So why should we not follow suit? The solution: find the best course of action, finish up the contract and move on, or provide a refund that follows suit with your contract or proposal. Cut your losses and find someone else to work with. Someone who respects you. Trust me, there's plenty of wonderfully amazing humans out there that don't even know you exist yet. The prevention. Think about putting a couple personality screening practices in place. Add a clause to your contract that involves emotional abuse. And once again, always trust your gut. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own voice. And most importantly, and I can't stress this enough, stick to the facts. Be honest with yourself. Have the courage to let yourself be vulnerable by standing your ground and follow your heart and intuition. If you respect yourself, others are more likely to follow. So all in all, don't let the rules define your success. As an entrepreneur, it's up to you to decide what rules to make for your business, but even more importantly, which ones you feel comfortable breaking. You are the product of your own success. After all, there's a reason you decided to break free from your crappy 9-to-5 and become your own boss. The business world is a tough one. You want to be great at what you do, easy to work with and accommodating, but you need to find that special balance and determine ways to be nice without being taken advantage of. Even though you want your clients to be friendly and maybe even your friend, clients are just that. Clients. They aren't your friends, and you aren't obligated to provide them with all the accommodations and special favors you might provide to others in your life. But you also don't need to be rude, cold, flat, and heartless. Treating them as a friend is often a recipe for disaster. And trust me, this isn't hogwash. I'm speaking from experience. So remember, you do the work for the client, just what they hired you for, with great exceptionalism. But you run the show. Your show, not them.
And that's a wrap. Virtually Untangled is a full-service business, which means they've got you covered on design and content right through to digital and organization. You'll form a long-lasting relationship with them, as collaboration is central to everything they do. Now it's time to seize the moment and become inbox friends. It's easy to do. Just hop on over to virtuallyuntangled.com or their Facebook page to opt in and receive instant access to the most inspirational ride of your life. So what are you waiting for? Become inbox friends with VU. Until the next episode, keep untangling.